Let us close the eyes for a moment, remembering God and all the masters, remembering Sage Patanjali. Let us offer our prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all. May we enjoy food together. May we meditate and pray together. May we attain wisdom through our study and discussion. May there be no conflict among us. May there be more love and peace within and everywhere. Om. Amen. I bow to one formless God. I humbly bow to all the masters of Kriya Yoga lineage and all the saints and sages of all times and places. I bow to Sage Patanjali and I bow to divinity in each one of you. Good evening and welcome to this new series of lectures on the topic of components of Kriya Yoga. Don't be excited. I'm not going to teach Kriya Yoga online. Neither I am going to discuss the techniques. But this series is based on one sutra from Yoga Sutra Patanjali, which is the definition of Kriya Yoga. Tapaha Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So around this sutra, we are going to discuss in detail. So this series is oriented towards the conceptual in-depth study of this word Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is the best gift given from God. To begin this topic, as we are always curious as human beings, whenever anything comes to our knowledge, we always think, who started? From where did it come? So we'll begin with the history from the origin of Kriya Yoga. And then slowly we'll build up around this definition to go in more and more detail about yoga as well as Kriya. The best source available in Bhagavad Gita. If you study Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, Lord Krishna explaining to Arjuna in the battlefield, he's telling in the 1st and 2nd verse of 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manorikshvakave bravit evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. It is not written Shri Krishna Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha means this teaching of yoga, it has come from God, the Supreme Lord. That's why Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So the blessed Lord said, what did he say? I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to Sun God, whose name is Vivasvana, and Vivasvana instructed it to Manu, who is the father of mankind. We call him the first human being. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So Vivasvana, Manu, Ikshvaku, these are the names of royal kings of solar dynasty. The same dynasty in which in the 14th generation of this solar dynasty, Lord Rama is born. Then Lord is telling this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciple succession, means it is known as parampara, means one after the other it is passed on by the tradition of guru and disciple. So this was passed on to the next disciple, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. But remember, a doubt comes. Did Kriya Yoga was Kriya Yoga lost sometime? The answer is it was not totally lost, but it remained with some saints and sages of high caliber like Babaji Maharaj. So they preserved, and they lived in the caves and caverns of Himalayas, preserving this knowledge of Kriya Yoga, which was given by God in the beginning of creation to Vivasvana. They maintained it, practiced it, and in the modern time, as the history goes, in 1861, Lahiri Mahasaya, he received this Kriya Yoga technique again by Babaji Maharaj, and you can find this beautiful description of Lahiri Mahasaya meeting Babaji Maharaj in Autobiography of a Yogi, that how mysteriously he was transferred to Ranikhet in the Himalayas, and one day he was climbing and he met his guru of previous life, Babaji Maharaj. So this science, which is known as Raja Yoga also in Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Why it is called Raja Yoga there? It's not Raja Yoga which you see in the modern time, which many teachers are teaching. Why it is Raja Yoga? Because this science, this yoga was given to first king of solar dynasty, Vivasvana, and from him it was passed on to the next king, then to the next king. So it was being practiced in the royal dynasty. That's why it was known as Raja Yoga in those days. Babaji called it Kriya Yoga as it is mentioned in many ancient scriptures. So when the kings were practicing, all their subjects were following and they were also practicing Kriya Yoga. Gurudev used to say, there was a time when everybody was practicing Kriya Yoga. And he said, a time will come again when all will practice Kriya Yoga. And very soon it's going to be true, because Kriya Yoga is being practiced in many parts of the world. Most of the countries will find some people. Not necessarily there may be a center, but there are people who are practicing. So the history goes, it comes from the God himself, the Supreme Lord, and then it was given to the first king, and now we are here. Through the chain of master and disciple, Guru Shishya Parampara, tradition of Guru disciple, we have received this royal science of Kriya Yoga, We are so fortunate. Just imagine what we are practicing as a Kriya Yoga now. It's not we have learned from some yoga studio. It has come directly from the succession of God. So we should feel proud and we are fortunate for that. However, if we think about the history of Kriya Yoga, further question comes that if God gave us, where is it is referred to? So let me take you to the detail of many scriptures, because Kriya Yoga is the most ancient and scientific technique of meditation. So some of the references I will give you, although there are more than 35 references I have found, but some of them, at least 22, I can share with you. Most ancient and scientific technique, where it is mentioned first. If you look at the history of our scriptures of mankind, you will find that Vedas are the teachings from God, and they are the most ancient scriptures available in the human society in modern time even. We don't know how old the Vedas are, but as per the recent research studies, it is revealed that Vedas are more than 10,000 years old. How old still we don't know, but at least we have gone up to 10,000. So in one commentary of Rig Veda, it is in the 8th book, 53rd canto, 3rd mantra, there is reference to one technique of Kriya Yoga related to pranayama. Brahma Sutra is the scripture of Vedanta. In Brahma Sutra, you will find references of Kriya techniques in 4 places. Light, divine sound, divine pulsation is mentioned there, as well as where to concentrate in the fontanel. It is also mentioned in Brahma Sutra. I'm not referring to those mantras because otherwise it will become a series of maybe for 1 month. Yoga Vasishtha is another beautiful scripture of Vedanta as well as yoga. Yoga Vasishtha is the compilation of teachings of sage Vasishtha, the guru of Lord Rama. So when he taught Lord Rama Kriya Yoga, it is again, there are 2 references where you can find. In Yoga Vasishtha, name Kriya is not there, but the techniques are there mentioned. Then approximately 9,000 years old, Mundak Upanishad. Mundak Upanishad in the 3rd canto, 3rd book, 1st chapter and mantra number 4, it speaks about Kriya Yoga technique related to Mahamudra. Although there are 2 more mantras about Kriya, even who is a Kriyavan, who is the practitioner of Kriya, that is also defined in Mundak Upanishad. Prano hi esha sarva bhutai vibhati. Some other time we'll talk about Mundak Upanishad mantras. Shvetashvatara Upanishad also mentions the technique of Kriya, especially Jyoti Mudra. Yoga Chudamani Upanishad speaks about some techniques of Kriya. Then if you come to Puranas, in Bhagavat Puran, 11th book, there's complete description of Kriya Yoga. The chapter is there, Kriya Yoga, 27th chapter, and verse number 1st through 27. And here in Bhagavat Purana, or Holy Bhagavatam otherwise known, 2 techniques are referred which we practice in higher Kriya. Antar Bahir Matrika Prakurvita, this is the word comes. And who is teaching in Bhagavat Puran? Lord Krishna is teaching Kriya Yoga to Uddhava. Then Patanjali Yoga Sutra, as we all know, in the 2nd chapter, 1st sutra is the definition of Kriya Yoga, which we are going to discuss in detail. Bhagavad Gita refers to Kriya Yoga techniques in many places, but especially 4th chapter, 29th verse, 5th chapter, 27, 28th verse, 6th chapter, some instruction about practicing meditation from 11 to 17th verse. Shiva Purana. In Shiva Purana, there is a section of Uma Sanghita, 18th chapter, first and second verse, description of Kriya Yoga. Mother Parvati is teaching Kriya Yoga. Agni Purana says Narad has taught Kriya Yoga. In Mahabharata, Vana Parva, this description of Kriya Yoga, where King Janaka and Vaishampayan, they are discussing what is Kriya Yoga and how it helps. That verse we'll discuss in our further classes. Adhyatma Ramayana, the chapter is Kishkindha Kand, the section Kishkindha Kand, 4th chapter, verse number 11 to 41. Adhyatma Ramayana is again more than 5,000 years ago. It was written, and Lord King Kriya Yoga to his younger brother Lakshmana. At two places it is referred to. At one place, Lord Rama and Lakshmana, they are in exile. Mother Sita, the wife of Lord Rama, is kidnapped by Ravana, evil king. And Lakshmana is asking Lord Rama that in this stressful moment, we have so many troubles. How do you keep calm? And Lord Rama is replying, Lakshmana, I am practicing Kriya Yoga. Because of that, I am able to keep my mind in a state of balance. Then Lakshmana is asking, what is Kriya Yoga? So in the Kishkindha Kand 4th chapter, Lord Rama has explained in detail what is Kriya Yoga. Of course, not all the techniques, but two techniques again they are mentioned which we practice in our higher Kriya. Shiva Samhita is another yogic text in which you can find some techniques of Kriya Yoga. I had taught this in another retreat. Hariharananda Samhita, you can find many of our Kriya techniques are mentioned. Vishwasara Tantra, there is description of one technique of Kriya related to higher Kriya. Kularanava Tantra, Jnana Sankalini Tantra also mention some of the techniques of Kriya Yoga which we practice. Graha Yamal, Yoga Yamal, they are also tantric text. You can find reference to Kriya Yoga. Yogi Yagyavalkya is again, it is a yogic scripture and says Yagyavalkya has explained about Kriya techniques. Devi Bhagavad Purana, in that also you can find references to Kriya Yoga. There are many more, but we'll stop here. So it is not that Kriya Yoga somebody has founded or started and or somebody has written some technique. It is not the case. You can see all these ancient scriptures are from the time period of like 9,000, 10,000, 8,000, 7,000, 5,000 years old. None of them is from the modern time. So this shows the authenticity of this Kriya Yoga technique, that how it is transferred or given by God and we are practicing it today. And it is as God has taught us, because all these scriptures which I'm mentioning to you, they have the references to these techniques which we practice even now. Let me clarify one thing. Very often this question comes, is Kriya Yoga Karma Yoga? Because sometimes we get confused that Kriya Yoga is Karma Yoga, but that is not the case. As I told you that in all the different scriptures as we discussed, you can find the external form of Kriya Yoga, because everything has two forms. One is external, one is internal form. So in the scriptures, you will find the ritualistic or external form of Kriya Yoga. Techniques are mentioned, but not complete details are given. But to know the internal form of Kriya Yoga, you have to learn it from an authentic acharya, from a master or from an authorized teacher who has practiced. Directly you have to learn through the process of initiation, as you all know. This technique cannot be taught online or it cannot be written in the books as per the instructions of the masters. So external form you can read in all these scriptures, but to really know the practical aspect of that, you have to approach a teacher, guru, and learn from that person in direct contact. So the question comes that is Kriya Yoga Karma Yoga? No, there is a difference between Kriya and Karma. Kriya Yoga is not exactly Karma Yoga. We'll go into more detail of different types of yoga in further classes or slides. First, we need to understand what is Kriya and what is Karma. Sometimes in English language, we use one word for both. We also say Kriya as action and Karma as also action. But both are different because there is slight difference in Sanskrit. Kriya, as it is called activity. Any activity which is being performed, remember, being performed, not completed, means it is under the process of being performed, it is still Kriya. And when it is completed, then it becomes karma. So what is karma? Karma means the action with impression, means which is going to give you result. But when Kriya is there, Kriya itself doesn't have any result because it is still under being processed. Another definition to understand clearly, Kriya means activity which is being performed. And when with this Kriya, we add our ego, which is I. When we add our I, then it becomes karma. If it is, there is no I, if there is no ego, means there is no notion of doership that I am doing. If you remove this notion or this feeling that I am the doer, then it is still Kriya, it is not karma. So be clear, when doership or notion of I am doing is associated with action, it becomes karma. And this leads to vices or virtues, because any karma can be good karma or bad karma, and according to that, you get the result as good or bad. So action, when it is completed, it is also now associated with the result, with the impression, and that impression, samskara, will give the result maybe tomorrow, today, or maybe in some time in future. So kriya and karma, both are different. Kriya is activity. Samskaras or impressions which are going to give result in future are of karma, not of action, not of kriya. So samskaras are related to karma, but not with the kriya. Kriya doesn't have samskar or impression because it's just a process. It is a natural function. We do not have the ego. For example, how to understand it? For example, we are hungry and we are taking food. So when we are taking food, we keep the food in mouth. It is an action. It is a karma because hand is involved, mind is involved, and there is ego that I am taking food. There is a notion that I am taking food and I'm getting satisfaction. But when the food goes inside the stomach, after that, it is digested. Do we have ego in digesting food? That I am digesting my food and I will digest it according to my wish. I will digest it after 4 hours, or I will digest it tomorrow because it is very delicious food. So I'll keep it in my stomach for a long time. There is nothing like that. Once we take food, after that, when it goes to the stomach, what happens to that food, it is none of our business. We are not worried about it because there is no I. We do not have that ego that I am digesting the food, but food is digested by itself because it is a natural function. And what does it mean? There is no doership is involved while when the food is being digested. Remember, food is being digested and I am digesting food. Both are different things. So there is no I, there is no ego. So that remains only kriya. So digestion is not karma. Digestion is a natural kriya. It is a process. Every day it happens on its own. When you are sleeping, so when you go into deep sleep, do you feel that I am having deep sleep and I can reduce the quality of sleep? No, in deep sleep, you cannot do anything because it's just a natural function. So it is a kriya, it does, and kriya does not have impression to give result in future. So whenever we associate ourselves, any action with I, we create the karma and we get the result. So if we are clear about it, karma and kriya, our life becomes much easier. Do not let your kriya become a karma. This is what is mentioned by Lord Krishna when he says that don't be akarmanya, but you have to do karma, but do it in such a way that you are not the doer. And that is the principle of Kriya Yoga. We have to do actions, but don't put your I or ego in that. Let it be just that God is the doer. I am not there. I is not there. So let it be just a Kriya. Kriya is not going to give you result. Result means it is a natural function, but it's not giving you impression to exhaust in coming time in future. Perceiving all the actions done by God or power of God through the agency of body, mind, and senses is Karma Yoga. Again, perceiving all actions done by power of God through the agency of body, mind, sense complex is Karma Yoga, because when mind, body is involved, there is definitely ego that I am doing. Karma Yoga is to use your talent for good of others without expectation and attachment. That is Karma Yoga. It's not Karma Yoga that I am just working and working like a donkey. That is not Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means selfless action, but it is to use the talent or skill for good of others without expectation and attachment. Again, to differentiate, Karma Yoga is offering whatever is done to God. Look, I did something and I could not remove my ego. So still I had that notion I did it. So whatever I have done, I'm just offering it to God. This is Karma Yoga, that, okay, God, this is for you. But Kriya is that I am not the doer. Doer is known as Karta in Sanskrit. When I am not Karta, I'm not doer. So I will not be Bhokta. I will not get the result. If I do something, I will get result. So if I am not Karta, I will not be Bhokta. Then who am I? I will remain a Drashta. Means I will remain a witness. Again, if I am not the doer, I will not get the result because it remains Kriya, it is not Karma, because it is done by God. And I will remain as a witness to that Kriya, that action or the activity. Kriya is a natural function, but karma binds us in the world because of its result. And especially when we expect, when I is there, ego is there, definitely there is expectation. Kriya is combination of jnana, karma, and bhakti. Gurudev used to say that Kriya Yoga is the combination of jnana, karma, and bhakti. We will discuss later. So what is the basic principle of Kriya? Again, I'll take you to definition of Kriya Yoga. As we say this word Kriya itself. So it has two syllables, as Gurudev used to explain, two syllables. If you split it, Kri and Ya. Kri is all the activities in our daily life. Whatever we do, we are sleeping, we are eating, we are talking, we are working. All these activities we perform, they all are known as Kri in Sanskrit, and it has come from Sanskrit root verb, which is known as kru. Kru means to do. And what is Ya? Ya means divinity. Ya means the power of God, which is invisible. Ya means also the soul within or the self. And Gurudev gave a very beautiful explanation. Who is doing all these activities? We say, I am doing constantly, we say. But who is really the doer? If body is doing, because usually we refer to the body that this body is doing. If body is doing, if there is no breath in the this body, then body is not functioning. So if body is responsible, then it should also continue performing all the actions after death. But once the breath stops, once the flow of prana stops, that energy which is invisible, there is no function, there is no activity possible. So who is responsible? Not the body, not the mind, but the responsible factor for all the activities is our breath, which, and with the breath our prana is associated. So that prana is God. So that power of God, which is invisible, is responsible for whatever we are doing in our day-to-day life. So this uh, union of Kri and Ya, combination of Kri and Ya is Kriya. Means if there is no breath, Gurudev said, if God does not breathe from top of your head, your dead body, you cannot do anything. So if there is no breath, there is no activity. This is a simple principle of Kriya Yoga. So long as we have breath, there is activity possible. So don't forget your breath. In every activity, remember who is the doer. Every breath, feel presence of God, that it is not me, it is divine power of God. That is what is Kriya. So this is the basic principle of Kriya. Now, if we go further, in one line, if I say, to perceive the power of divine in all the activities is Kriya. So any activity which reminds you of the power of divine within becomes Kriya. It is no more ordinary activity. So understanding the principle of Kriya, let's come to the next slide, which is about the yoga. So Kriya is clear. Now what is yoga? Let's discuss a little bit about this word. In general, we find many meanings. So very common meanings of this word yoga. Yoga is philosophy. Among the 6 schools of philosophy, yoga is one of that. We have Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purvamimamsa, Sankhya, Yoga, and then Vedanta, which is also known as Uttarmimamsa. So yoga is one of the school of philosophy. When we read the Yoga Sutra Patanjali, we find that the first book is called Samadhi Pada. Samadhi, which is the goal. So yoga is the goal. What is the goal of life? Yoga is the goal of life. What is yoga? We'll discuss later. Yoga is and how to reach that goal. There has to be some technique, there has to be some means. What does that mean? You have to practice yoga. So yoga is the goal and yoga is also the means. By practicing yoga, we reach the state of union or yoga. And a very common meaning of yoga is union. In general, we say union of body, mind, soul, and many things. We say union of individual consciousness with cosmic consciousness. In scientific language, we can say union of microcosm with macrocosm, because both are one. Yat pinde tat brahmande. How to feel that oneness, that union. This is also called yoga. So these are the common meanings, but we are not limiting ourselves, but we are going in depth about this word yoga. So going next to this word, the question comes that what is the meaning of this word yoga? Now again, meaning means it's not limited to only one meaning, but yoga has many meanings. So as Guruji has explained, we'll discuss some of them. Yoga, again, let me clarify. Very often we call yoga. When we came to West, so we started calling it yoga. It is not yoga, it is yoga, ending with a. So yoga, it has been derived from the Sanskrit root word yuj. Yuj means to unite. So the definition, etymological meaning is yujate anena iti yoga. So what is the meaning of yoga? To unite, to unite, to join, or to merge. Another meaning is combination of planets in astrology. In Vedic astrology, we have 9 planets, and when we make a chart or birth chart, so in that sometimes 2 or more than 2 planets are together in one house. So this combination of planets is also known as yoga, like Gajakesari yoga or Chandala yoga, when Jupiter and Rahu together, Jupiter and Moon together is Gajakesari yoga, Lakshmi yoga, Pushkara yoga, and so on. So combination of planets. Another meaning of this word yoga, combination of herbs in Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, we use many different types of herbs, Shankpushpi, Brahmi, and so on, Guduchi. So when we make combination of these herbs, this is also known as yoga. Yoga means method. Yoga means also to cheat. This is another meaning. To cheat someone is also called yoga. And yoga means union. If you see the classical dictionary of Sanskrit words, in Amar Kosha has given the definition yoga samadhau. Yoga is samadhi. So realization, self-realization, this is called yoga. Another meaning is yuj sanyamane. Discipline is also called yoga. Sanhananaha, protecting shield. Sometimes when we go to the battlefield, so we keep the protecting shield, or breastplate, or amulet. This is also known as yoga. Yoga means also upaya, method or means to achieve some goal. Upaya. Dhyanam, another meaning, yoga means meditation. Sangati. Sangati means connection or relation to someone is also yoga. Suppose you are united with your friend after a long time. So this is yoga. Yukti. Yukti means a logical understanding of subject matter is also known as yoga. If you go to another text, Medini Kosha. In Medini Kosha, yoga is defined as Vapu Sthairya. Vapu means body. So stillness of body and eyes. Stillness of body or eyes are also known as yoga. Sometimes you'll see that people are sitting quietly, but they start moving their legs unnecessary or moving their hands. Even in meditation, when we are sitting still, sometimes we feel itching sensation, or when we are distracted by some sound. So our body is not still. So when we make our body completely still, even the eyes is still, like in Shambhavi Mudra. That is called yoga. Another meaning is Kulam. Kulam means bank of a river, is known as yoga. Yoga means also Tantra. Yoga means Prayoga, application. When we know something, we get knowledge of a particular object or a concept. When we apply that, that is known as Prayoga. This is also yoga. Another meaning is Bheshajam, means treatment. When you have a disease, you go to doctor or physician and get treatment. So that is also known as yoga. One meaning is Dhanam, wealth is yoga. Vishwasghat, treachery is yoga. Dravya, dravya means to know the quality of something is yoga. Yoga means also Karana, application. Another meaning is mantra. Aushadha. Aushadha means medicine is known as yoga. And in astrology, again we find in Muhurta Jyotisha, we try to find some auspicious time for a particular event. Suppose marriage ceremony or housewarming ceremony Vastu Puja. So we always find an auspicious time. So we see the yoga. So there are Vishkamba, etc. There are some auspicious yoga. So many meanings. If you read Devi Bhagavat, in Devi Bhagavata, yoga is defined as prema. Prema means pure love or devotion. So how many meanings we have discussed? And if you read the book written by Guruji, 10 Commandments of Yoga, there he has mentioned about 33 meanings of yoga. And if you read Vyasa Bhashya, you can find 64 meanings of yoga. However, some of them I can tell you. Yoga means joining or uniting. Second is union or junction. Third is contact or communication. Yoga means a point of view or an argument. Yoga means mode, manner, course, or means. It is also meant consequence, an endeavor, zeal, diligence. And in astrology, as we discussed, conjunction of stars or planets is yoga. Yoga means also fitness, propriety, suitability. An occupation, work, or business is yoga. In Ayurveda, a special combination of different ingredients. Carriage, a spy, a secret agent is also yoga. Yoga means yoke, which has come from same root word yuj. Yoga means a possibility or occurrence. Yoga means gaining. When we say apraptasya prapti yoga, so gaining, acquainting, acquiring something is yoga. The equipment of army is yoga. Fixing or putting in practice something or self-control is yoga. Deep and abstract meditation, concentration of mind, which is called dharana, and samadhi, also known as yoga. Yoga means an occasion, an opportunity. Yoga means remedy or cure. Yoga means wealth or substance. Yoga means etymology, derivation of words meaning, employment, application, dependence, relation. Then the system of philosophy by Sesh Patanjali. Yoga means in arithmetic, yoga means addition. We add 2 plus 2, so that is called yoga. Yoga means an armor. Yoga means devotion. To trick someone or fraud, deceive, that is yoga. Yoga means an expedition plan. Yoga means a rule or precept. A conveyance or vehicle is also known as yoga. Then yoga means a charm or magic. So at least 33 meanings you'll find here in this book by Guruji. Although I'm giving you detail, but we will slowly focus on exact meaning of yoga. Now, if we come to this word yoga from the best available texts on yoga, Yoga Sutra Patanjali. In Yoga Sutra Patanjali, you will find the very first sutra of the first chapter, which is called Samadhi Pada. It says Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. So this is the discipline of yoga. So from this definition, we find that yoga means discipline. Whatever we do in our life, we need some discipline. Suppose I am talking to all of you. There's a discipline how to sit properly, where to sit, where to look. I cannot lie down and talk to you. That is against the culture of our communication. So there is anushasan, there is discipline of everything. When we take food, there's a proper way where to sit, how to take food. There are many protocols. So all this is known as anushasana or discipline. So everything we do, we need some discipline, and discipline means yoga. Then The second sutra in the first chapter says, Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And this sutra itself is total Yoga Sutra Patanjali. If you understand Yoga, Chitta, Vritti and Nirodha, these 4 words, you have understood the entire text of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. This whole philosophy you can understand with this just 4 words. Some other time we'll discuss, it will take long time. So what is the meaning? Yoga is the elimination, annihilation and suppression of the modifications of mind. Mind is constantly creating thoughts. So all these thought patterns keep us in different states, distracted, focused, semi-focused, and so on. So all these modifications of mind, when we eliminate them or when we cease them, nirodha, cessation, that is the state of yoga. Now, very important aspect, as we discussed from the root verb yuj. The word yoga has come from yuj dhatu in Sanskrit. So there are 2 etymological meaning. Yujir yoge, if we consider this definition, yujir yoge, then yoga is union. Yoga is union. But another meaning is yuj samadhau. Yuj samadhau, yoga is samadhi. Now the question comes, which application or which definition is applicable in the Yoga Sutra Patanjali? We discussed 33 different meanings, but which meaning is appropriate for Yoga Sutra? Or we can say, Sage Patanjali has used, in which meaning he has used yoga? Out of 32, 33 meanings, which is the correct meaning which Sage Patanjali is indicating? It is not union. It is not union. Yoga is samadhi. So when he's telling, Sage Patanjali is telling in the first sutra, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, he is telling about the discipline of samadhi. And when he is telling yoga chitta vritti nirodha, means what is yoga? When we can stop the flow of thoughts. That means no vrittis, no modifications can be made further. Although chitta is there, mind still remains there. Mind cannot be eliminated. But mind is there, but the modifications of mind are coming to a cessation or a state when it is completely stopped. You are completely drashta, witness. That is the state of yoga. So here when he is telling yoga, he is telling samadhi. So if we can achieve this chitta vritti nirodha, if we can seize the modification of mind, question comes how? So in further sutras it is explained how. But here, just to understand this concept that yoga is not union in Yoga Sutra, yoga in Yoga Sutra of Patanjali is samadhi. Because the first chapter he starts with samadhi, the goal. When the goal is clear, after that we can decide how to reach there. Unless we know where we have to reach, how can we find the path? So first you have to make the goal, and that's the reason Sage Patanjali has started with this first chapter as samadhi. So when he's talking about the samadhi, he starts with yoga, and here yoga means samadhi. So he's talking about that just by chitta vritti nirodha, one can achieve samadhi. So don't take the meaning of union, but here Sage Patanjali is mentioning that yoga is samadhi, not union. However, so these are the 2 definitions of yoga. And if we go to further in text, we will find drashta anushravika vishayehi yoga viyoga. Separation or rejection or negation of association with. What you see or listen is yoga. So whatever you see, you're united. Suppose I am looking at you, so my eyes are united with you. I'm speaking to you, so my words are united with you. You are listening. So through that, we are united. So when we separation or rejection of association with what you see or listen is yoga. When you separate it or um, negation of association, when you disassociate what you see or listen, you are in your own form, and that's a state of yoga. Yoga milanam sacha vakshamanah drashtu drashyayoh ekatva rupam. This yoga is union between seer and the seen. So what we see, there is subject and there is object. When object and subject, they become one. There is no duality. That's the state of union. Perfect union is yoga. Another meaning is definition. Apraptasya prapti yoga. Yoga is to achieve what is not attained. Suppose you don't have a house and you make effort for that. You get some money, you make effort and you construct a house. So you got the house and you are united with house. So apraptasya prapti. Yoga means to achieve something which is not attained. So when you practice it, you achieve it, and that is yoga. However, there are many, many definitions from different scriptures, which will continue in our next class. It's very deep subject. So first, we'll understand the concept of, we understood Kriya, we understand now what is yoga, and then we'll go to the components of word Kriya. Now it's time for meditation. Let us go for our practical session. Please sit straight. Wherever you are sitting, keep your head, neck, and the whole body in a straight line. Close your eyes. Withdraw your sense organs, withdraw your mind from the external objects and just focus on your breath. Formless God, constantly breathing from top of the head. Just observe with love each inhalation and exhalation. I am not breathing, it is the breath of God. Breathing is Kriya, it is not karma. Every breath, feel love within. Feel completely relaxed. When you're watching the breath, you are in the present moment. Gently, you will feel that mind is more settled, more focused. Let us practice some deep breathing pranayam technique, consciously moving our pranic energy with slow, long, deep inhalation and exhalation from bottom to top of the head and top to bottom of the spine. Just watch and feel the flow of prana. Please inhale, feel love, exhale, peace, inhale, love, exhale, peace, inhale, love, exhale, peace, inhale, peace, exhale, love, inhale, peace, exhale, love, inhale, peace, exhale, love, inhale, love, exhale, peace, inhale, love, exhale, peace. Each inhalation, feeling of unconditional love. In each exhalation, peace within. Normal conscious breath. Inside the cranium, there is inner space. Just remain there. Meditate silently. State of calmness, blissful state. Subject and object become one, and you are the witness. Bring your attention back to the soul center in between the eyebrows. Always maintain this state of peace, bliss, and joy in all your activities, praying to God and the masters. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all become happy and healthy, loving, noble, and compassionate. May there be no suffering or sorrow. May there be more love, peace, and harmony among us and in this entire creation. May the blessings of divine and masters be upon us all and everywhere. Om. Amen. Thank you all. Open the eyes. Thank you for joining this evening. We'll continue our discussion and go into more details of our concepts of Kriya Yoga in further 5 more classes. By that time, meditate nicely, be happy and healthy. Jai Guru.